Thomas Fritz.
And I'm Nathan Johns.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride while we're.
Switching grooves.
What's up, Nathan?
Not much, Russ. How are you?
Not bad, buddy.
That's good.
Been
It's
about a
been a
week and a
roller coaster
half.
week on this end. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it's been about a week and a half, so
It's
got a little bit to cover. So
yeah. Before we get on this episode, I'd like to send my prayers and thoughts to the I think it was Shane Nolan. I think was the name. I might have
yes,
read the name wrong, but I want to give my thoughts and prayers to them with his passing at Lernerville Speedway after a very tragic accident in an enduro event on Sunday. So I would like to put our thoughts and prayers out for that family.
you read my mind exactly, buddy.
So
It's just very, very unfortunate. I
it's
hate seeing it.
definitely a very sad thing, and hopefully it brings change to that series. It's unfortunate, and in my honest opinion, it's uncalled for that it happened that way. But I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's nothing that we can do
Yeah.
to change that.
So what do you got in dirt news this week?
What do I have dirt news? Well, what do you want to know?
Well, let's start. Well, we have a week and a half we have to get caught up on.
Well, see, that's the great thing about dirt racing.
There's a lot happens from what I understand.
Well, I didn't actually put it in my notes about a couple of things. So,
We'll be like a sprint car guy and wing it.
oh man, the Kubota High Limit
Hopefully somebody
Series.
got that joke. Hopefully somebody will catch that.
Yes, I got it. But no, the Kubota High Limit Midweek Money Series. I didn't follow that a whole lot this year, so I really didn't put anything about that in my notes. I talk about it here and there, but nothing major. So I'll
Yeah.
just get right to it. And you know me, I go ahead and write myself all out so I can just read it to everybody. So
You're good. If there's anything you miss, I'm sure I'll be able to help fill it in if I know about
I'm
it.
sure you will.
There's been a few of them you and I have discussed.
So Brad Sweet, the reigning champ of the Kubota High Limit Series, which yes, I know a lot of people. I mean, he's the reigning champ because he's been crowned. So he is the reigning champ. He rolled into the season finale Saturday, riding a 3-race win streak, all of which he snagged last week at I-70, Lucas Oil Speedway, and Texas Motor Speedway. But the last of those, excuse me, the last of those wins came on Friday night at the dirt track at Fort Worth, Texas, marking the Big Cat's 10th visit to the Whiskey Myers Victory Lane in the 2024 Kubota High Limit Racing Series. The Texas Motor Speedway is a 4/10 of a mile oval, which was in excellent condition on Friday, showcasing 5 league changes during the 25-lap feature, and Darren Pittman kicked things off by leading lap 1, followed by Aaron Reitzel, who took over from laps 2 to 7, and Darren Pittman regained control for laps 8 through 12. Then Brad Sweet made his move to lead lap 13, and Pittman snatched it back on lap 14, but Sweet ultimately dominated from laps 15 to 25. Darren Pittman, behind the wheel of the Kreitz Racing number 69K, traveled all the way from Pennsylvania, secured second place in his Kubota High Limit Racing debut. So that was a great run in his first night with the High Limit Series, all the way from Pennsylvania. I mean, I can't believe they made the haul.
To give you
That
some
was
idea, that is Port Royal territory for that team. They're the complete other side of the state from us. Like
yeah,
it's not that they're close at all. So that was definitely a hike.
that was a trek, and I'll tell you what. Good job to them for making it. But he did a great job in the race. I mean, that was just awesome race back and forth. You know, I wish I could do it. They could do a lot more than I can.
There's a lot of things I wish I could do. I've driven far distances, but that one's really fun.
Oh man, that's cool though. But to see the dedication, those guys wanted to go racing and they wanted to go high limit racing, so they made it happen. So
I mean, I think last week there wasn't going to be much racing at all. There was a lot of weather predicted in our area last week, so I mean, go to where the races are. It makes sense.
hey, congrats to Pittman. That's good to come that far and to get second place. I mean, hey, at least you made your money
Especially
back.
against a bunch of the high limit guys. I almost said all stars.
Well, they could have been. They just
I
couldn't
mean,
keep the
yeah.
name. But no, he did a hell of a job. He's been around a long time too, so a
Oh
lot
yeah.
of guys thought he was losing his touch, but apparently he's not. So I don't know. I mean, you tell me.
I don't
I
I
don't.
don't know very much sprint car stuff, so I can't tell you anything on that one.
I was talking to the audience, Nathan.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, Ryan Timms kept up his momentum kept his momentum going. Excuse me, I got tongue tied there. With a solid third place finish on Friday night, marking his third consecutive event this week, where he fought for the win with the Kubota High Limit Racing after hopping into the Shane Liebig number 10. Completing the top 10 on Friday were Brett Marks, Aaron Reisel, Justin Peck, James McFadden, Corey Day, Tanner Thorson, and Jacob Allen. And the Capital Custom Trailers quick time went to Darren Pittman with a time of 13.655. James McFadden snagged the win in the TJ Forged Heat Race number 1. Brad Sweet took the DMI Heat Race number 2 victory, while Brett Marks won the Heat Race number 3 victory for B&R Motorsports. Justin Peck was the winner of Heat number 4, sponsored by Winners Performance. Darren Pittman also claimed the FK Rod Ends Dash, and in the B main, Tim Eastonson came out on top. Brad Sweet earned the Jake's Golf Carts Fast Slap Award with a time of 13.991, and Corey Eliason was the hard charger, moving up from 26th to 14th. That was a good job. 12 spots. Brett Marks really brought his A game to the finale on Saturday for the Kubota High Limit 2024 racing season at Texas Motor Speedway, snagging a cool $50,000 to win. Can you imagine winning 50 grand, man?
I would love to win that. Except I don't know if go kart races would be any good at 50,000 to win. I don't
Hey,
think micro sprints would be any good at 50,000 to win. It'd be an absolute junkyard.
but for these guys, 50 grand and barely even pays the bills,
That's pocket
so.
change. That's nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, 50,000 I think is what they paid at. I think they paid that at Lernerville this year for the day 2 of the Commonwealth Clash. I think it's what they won was 50,000.
50,000 barely covers the engine rebuild.
See that's crazy to think about. Like that's the highest paying, one of the highest paying events we've had, and 50,000 is barely enough to pay for a motor rebuild. That's crazy to think about when you think of it that way.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't know.
I think I knew a guy once, and I believe he said it was $65,000 for a Casey Kane motor. So that's insane to think that it doesn't even pay for a motor.
And a lot of guys run Kistler, which is local to me, so.
That's crazy. But I mean, like a Casey Kane racing motor is $65,000, and they're racing out there to win almost all of it back. That's insane.
If you want to be competitive, man, that's what it takes to win.
Oh yeah.
I mean, but continuing on, known as the Myerstown Missile, he clinched his third victory in the Whiskey Myers victory lane during the final laps of the 30-lap race. Darren Pittman, who had been leading the race, made a mistake on lap 21, giving Marks the chance to slide his number 19 into the lead. After that, Marks nailed the only restart and sped off to secure the biggest win of his high limit racing journey, celebrating with family, friends, and sponsors who were all there for the big Fort Worth event. This victory was also the key for the points standings as the Murray Marks Motorsports team managed to fend off Jason Myers Racing and Book Motorsports for the last high stakes charter spot of the season. Remember that. These guys are all the top 5, I should say, in high limit are competing for charters for next season. So
Charters. Where have I heard about that before?
I believe it's a huge mistake, but we'll see
I
how it works.
wouldn't know why we know about charters so well.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of it, especially in sprint car racing.
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's not my series. I don't make the rules, so unfortunately, it is what it is. And charters in a sprint car series are just not what I would expect them to be. But we'll see how it works next season.
Oh, yeah.
So who knows? Who knows? Darren Pittman from Owasso, Oklahoma, driving the Kreitz Racing 69K, took second place for the second night in a row and earned himself $20,000. Well, himself and the team, I should say. Emerson Axum, he finished third, marking a personal best for the the Petrie, I should say, Klassmeyer number 27 team, and walked away with 10 grand at just 18 years old from Franklin, Indiana. Can you imagine that?
That's crazy.
Winning that much money, that's got to be one of your biggest payouts at 18. I mean, that's cool. I mean, good for him. The kid's got a bright future ahead of him. So I'm looking forward to following his career. Hopefully it takes him pretty far. The top 10 was rounded out by Corey Day, Ryan Timms, Rico Abreu, Tyler Courtney, Corey Eliason, Spencer Baston, and Justin Peck. So, your Capital Custom Trailers quick time went to Corey Day with a time of 13.29. Emerson Axum snagged the win in the TJ Forge Heat Race number 1. Rico Abreu took the top spot in DMI Heat Race number 2. James McFadden was the winner of B&R Motorsports Heat Race number 3. Spencer Basin claimed the victory in Winners Performance Heat number 4. And Darren Pittman won the FK Rod Ends Dash. Parker Price Miller came out on top in the B main. And Darren Pittman also earned the Jake's Golf Cart's Fastest Lap Award with a time of 13.995. So, Darren Pittman, really the talk of the weekend. Like I said, you think he's losing his touch even though he's been around for a while? I don't think so. Just my opinion. And the Hard Charger Award went to Joel Myers, who moved up 11 spots from 24th to 13th. So, man, what a hell of a weekend.
Sounds fun.
At the end of the night, though, Brad Sweet and the Casey Kane Racing Napa Auto Parts number 49 were actually officially named the 2024 Kubota High Limit Racing Champions, and the season wrapped up with the banquet in the Fort Worth Stockyards on Sunday. So the final standings for the 2024 season for Kubota High Limit Racing after 52 races. See, they have a shorter season than the World of Outlaws. So is Brad Sweet in the Casey Kane Racing number 49 with 3,137 points. Following him is Tyler Courtney from Clausen Marshall Racing in the number 7 BC, sitting at 2,840 points. Rico Abreu from Rico Abreu Racing number 24 is behind Courtney with 2,839 points. What the heck just happened here?
Oh no.
Excuse me. But there we go. My screen just went blank for a quick second. It just shut off. But James McFadden from Roth Motorsports, the Roth Motorsports number 83, 2,688 points. Brett Marks from Murray Marks Motorsports number 19, close behind him with 2,649 points. Corey Day from Jason Myers Racing number 14, 2,636 points. And Justin Peck from Book Motorsports in the number 13 follows with 2,602 points. Spencer Baston from CJB Motorsports number 5 is 2,454 points. Parker Price Miller, PPM Racing, number 9, 2,264 points. Corey Eliason from Rigid Sons Racing, 2,221 points. And, what was that? I don't know why this keeps doing this. But anyway, we'll just skip on over that for now. So, what do you think for the first full season, I should say, of Kubota High Limit Racing?
I will say there was one part that I don't know if you've got any more dirt that we haven't heard yet, but there was one point that I have noticed you missed.
What's that?
James McFadden has announced that he is no longer racing in the United States next season, which I'm going to be really honest with you. I'm not sure I'm surprised by that. With how many run ins that 49 has had in with James McFadden, I'm not so sure I disagree with the move to go back to racing in Australia because he
Let's
got
see.
a royally bad welcome to the United States when it came to that.
I didn't actually miss that point. I just haven't gotten to it yet.
Well, that's what I was asking. I wasn't sure if you
But
got to it
yes,
yet.
the first national tour for Kubota High Limit Racing is officially in the books, but there is actually more racing to come on the horizon in 2024 because High Limit International is set to kick off from December 28th through the 30th, featuring the very first 100,000 to win sprint car event in Australia, taking
Is it
place at
100,000 US dollars?
I believe so.
Just curious.
Taking place at the Perth Motorplex in Western Australia. And this is where I get to
I was close.
speaking of Australia, James McFadden has actually decided to stay home next season instead of running full time in the United States. So, according to him, he mentioned this at the banquet. According to him, he is he's taking this break for family reasons and stuff like that. Basically, it's personal, but hey, hats off to him. He's done a great job in the States while he's been here, right? 3 years in the Roth car, and got to hand it to him. It's tough to keep a ride like that.
Oh yeah.
So now the question is, who takes over that seat?
I will.
Yeah, but I mean, we have guys like Baston leaving his car, and Peck potentially getting in that car, or will Peck go to the 83 car? I mean, we don't know what's going to happen. I'm actually kind of excited to see how silly season is going to work out for the high limit guys.
Oh yeah.
So next will actually be my outlaws. See, I like to go through my stuff and just get it done. So
Go for it.
moving
I
on to
just didn't know where we were at.
that. Moving on to the outlaws. There's actually an old saying that it's better to be lucky than good. You ever heard that one?
I have.
Yeah, but
I've
when you're
had a
both,
few. I've heard a few of those.
but when you're both, you're pretty much unstoppable. So this perfectly encapsulated the thrilling events that unfolded for Donnie Schatz at Lincoln Speedway in Abbottstown, Pennsylvania on Saturday. As the race progressed, it became clear that fortune and skill would intertwine in a dramatic fashion. And it did. So, lap 26, the atmosphere shifted dramatically when the race leader, Sheldon Haudenschild, encountered a more misfortune that would change the course of the event. And in a heart-stopping moment, Haudenschild hit the wall and flipped over in an incident that not only ended his night, but also handed the lead to Donnie Schatz. While luck played a role in this pivotal movement for Schatz, it was far from the only factor that propelled Schatz to the front. And he had to put in the hard work and preparation necessary to seize the opportunity when it arose. So, just because he's Donnie Schatz doesn't mean he's going to win it all the time. As the race resumed, Schatz found himself in a high pressure situation. with two of the fastest sprint car drivers hot on his heels, Carson Macedo and Buddy Kofoid. Both drivers had been on a remarkable winning streak. Remember, Buddy Kofoid went on a 5 race streak here not long ago and did a hell of a job. Racking up an impressive 12 victories in their last 15 races. Now, this is combined. Despite the formidable competition, though, Schatz remained unfazed and he demonstrated remarkable composure, skill, and expertly navigated the middle of the 3/8 mile track. Over the final 10 laps, though, he began to pull away from his rivals, showcasing not just his talent, but also the strategic acumen that comes from years and years of experience in this sport. And that he did. As he crossed the finish line, 3 seconds ahead, almost 3 seconds ahead of the competition, though, Schatz not only secured a well-deserved victory, but also pocketed a substantial 20 grand prize. And in his post-race comments, Schatz graciously acknowledged Haudenschild's early dominance, stating, he was the class of the field all night. It just bit him, and we capitalized on his misfortune." So this humility actually highlights the respect that he has for his fellow competitors and the unpredictability of racing. So I'm glad to see Donnie be as humble as he was about that and not be cocky about it. Basically, saying either way he was going to win. Yeah, I've heard guys say that, and I really like that out of Donnie. So good job to him for being so humble about it, and I'm sure all the other guys appreciate it as well. So, Schatz took a moment to reflect on the effort that goes into the sport, emphasizing that whether a driver finishes in 14th or stands atop the podium, the dedication and hard work will always remain constant. This perspective underscores the relentless pursuit of excellence that defines racing each and every lap, every turn, and when every decision counts. Ultimately, it was a fantastic night for Donnie and his team, who not only celebrated a hard-fought victory, but the night marked a significant chapter in the ongoing rivalry between the World of Outlaws and the PA Posse. You know who those guys are, Nathan.
Oh, I most certainly do.
With the Travelers taking home 5 out of 7 matchups in 2024, securing bragging rights for the upcoming season. This intense competition has become a hallmark of sprint car racing, with each event drawing passionate fans and fierce competitors eager to prove their dominance on the track. And that is not even far from the truth at all. So, Schatz, a seasoned veteran in the World of Outlaws, has made a strong push from the start of the 35-lap race. And after starting in 7th, he quickly maneuvered his way to 5th, showcasing his skill and determination. His aggressive driving style and strategic positioning allowed him to continue his ascent, reaching 4th place by the 10th lap. That's pretty damn good. Just 2 laps later, he managed to snag 3rd, and demonstrating his ability to capitalize on opportunities as they arose. So, as the race progressed, though, Schatz's confidence grew, and by lap 18, he had successfully overtaken Kofoid, claiming 2nd and setting his sights on Haudenschild, who was leading. The two drivers engaged in an awesome battle back and forth, with Schatz staying close behind during a crucial restart. However, despite his best efforts, he couldn't quite find the speed necessary to pass Haudenschild and take the lead. Just when it seemed like Schatz might have to settle for 2nd, though, misfortune haunted Jack. I almost said Jack. Misfortune haunted Sheldon Haudenschild, who had been leading, hit the wall and flipped over with only 10 laps left. That sucks. Sheldon just has not had any luck this year, man.
It definitely seems like we talk a lot about his misfortunes. It seems like it happens quite often.
I mean, this kid went from being the guy to beat to not being able to win
Bad
anything
luck.
this year.
If
I
it weren't
mean,
for bad luck, he'd have none at all.
exactly. This year is like it's just he tears up car after car.
Oh
I
yeah.
can't believe this year, like compared to last year or even a year before. I mean, the last 2 3 years he's been on fire, but
Oh yeah.
man, this sucks. I hate to see that for him. I mean, the kid's talented and he's gonna go places, but man, this just sucks.
Just a snake bitten when it comes to that. Just horrible luck.
But the unexpected flip uh, allowed Shots to seize the opportunity, taking the lead, and ultimately cruising to the victory. And it was a bittersweet moment as Shots acknowledged the misfortune that led to his win. But he also reflected on the tricky conditions of the track for the night. He emphasized the need to adjust his driving style to maintain control on the challenging track, and which is also, I should say, a testament to his experience and adaptability. Carson Macedo, another strong contender in the series, finished in second, putting in a solid performance that kept him in the mix for the championship. Meanwhile, David Gravel's ninth place finish was a setback for him, but it allowed Macedo to close the points gap to 72 with 7 races left in the season. So we have 7 races left to figure out who's going to win this Outlaw Championship. I don't know. Will it be Gravel? Will it be Macedo?
Only time will tell.
I think Gravel's probably pretty far ahead, but
Yeah.
it's going to take quite a bit for Macedo to be able to come back and win.
Yep.
But either way, we're going to have a first-time winner and a first-time champion.
Yep.
So it's going to be cool either way. But the competition remains fierce, and with each race, the stakes continue to rise as the drivers vie for the coveted championship title. As the season progresses, the fans can expect more thrilling battles and dramatic moments as the World of Outlaws and the PA Posse continue their on-track rivalry. A big shout out from Macedo to Philip Dietz, Adam Zimmerman, and Robin McQuinn for giving him an awesome race car. And Macedo shared, quote, I felt super competitive throughout the race. Starting from 5th, I managed to work my way up, and I'm thrilled to get the JJR number 41 back on the podium. Buddy Kofoid secured a solid third place with the Roth Motorsports number 83 at Lincoln, marking the team's impressive streak with 12 podium finishes in the last 14 races. And it feels great to be. And Kofoid said, "It feels great to be back on the podium here in Central Pennsylvania. This track is one of the toughest we face with its slick surface and technical layout. It really highlights the skills of Dylan, Nate, and Gage for giving me a car that performs well even in dirty air." Danny Dietrich and Chase Dietz rounded out the top 5, representing the PA Posse, and Matt Campbell made a notable move from 25th to 11th, earning the KSE Racing Hard Charger Award. And Dietz also celebrated his second career Simpson Quick Time during Seafoam qualifying. Sheldon Hollinshield, Chase Dietz, and Carson Macedo took the wins in the NOS Energy Drink heats 1, 3, and 4, and Tyler Ross claimed victory in Milton Hershey School Heat number 2. Sheldon Hollinshield also led the Toyota Racing Dash, and Justin Woodall triumphed in the Microlight Last Chance Showdown, which is also known as a B main. Logan Schuchart received the Smith Titanium Brake Systems Break of the Race Award. Looking ahead, the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars are set to make their only appearance this year in the land of Lincoln with a 2-night event on October 18th and 19th, which is this coming weekend, at Joliet, Illinois' Dirt Oval 66 for the Federated Auto Parts Route 66 Showdown. So that'll be fun to watch. I'm looking forward to it. Whether I have to watch replays or whatnot, I do have some stuff going on this weekend, but either way, I'm excited to watch that. So I'm going to make sure I don't get any spoilers on that online. And that's going to do it for me for the dirt. So, but before we go, once again, I want to actually say congrats to 3 great years with Roth Motorsports to James McFadden. You're a hell of a driver. Unfortunate to see that you're not coming back next year, but we all understand. And thanks for giving us the entertainment that you did, buddy. And good luck to you in the future. So,
Thank you, James.
we'll see you on the flip side.
We got to give a little flashback also. When we did our episode at Lernerville, we met some James McFadden fans. So hopefully someday we'll be able to go out there and see them on the other side.
Yeah, we stood and talked to him for a few minutes while we could, and
It was definitely cool. It was definitely
it was
fun to
fun.
talk to James.
No, and to give you a little shout out, Nathan. Everything is looking a lot better, man. You're upgrading.
I know I like this. I like the new setup. I finally got it to where it's somewhat a little better.
Seems like your computer's keeping up, and your camera's looking a little better.
Looking a little better.
Now we gotta get those headphones off of you.
I still like these. I feel like I'm in the booth. I kind of like this.
You feel like you're important?
I feel like I'm in the broadcast booth. I kind of like this. I don't know if I want to give these up. I might just get different ones.
I just figured to give you a hard time, man. Me, I don't particularly care for them, but it is.
I mean, I do kind of stand out a little bit, but I still enjoy them.
I don't know, makes your head look bigger than it needs to be.
We'll go with that. I don't know how to take that one yet. But yeah, when it comes to the NASCAR, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say. So what's going on in NASCAR, man? I've
well, we got to flash back to post Talladega because there has been some updates that I would like to address. No. We had the issue with the hole in the side of Stenhouse's car. Funny enough, there was no penalty with that because I believe it's per NASCAR's rule book. If you have that absorbent foam showing, you have to have it repaired. That was addressed in the rules, and there was no penalty. So I'm curious on that one still, but that's neither here nor there anymore. Then we found out also post-race that the number 6 of Brad Keselowski and the number 17 of Chris Buescher magically lost their roof panels, their sail panels.
Oh, the roof rails?
I'm very concerned. How do you lose those and not receive a penalty? That's my question on that one. But obviously there was no penalties addressed, no penalties given out, nothing. I believe there was a lug nut penalty from the Xfinity race, and that was all that was in the penalty report. I want to know why. I mean, obviously we'll never get an answer, but I would like to know an answer someday. We'll fast forward to this week at the Charlotte Roval. I got my shirt on to go with it. Yeah, all kinds of chaos. If we thought NASCAR was screwing with the system with the damaged vehicle policy and not giving out penalties at Talladega, we were in for a very rude awakening this week. We'll start off with the Xfinity race. Actually, we'll start off with qualifying. SVG dominated the polls between the Xfinity and the Cup Series. He managed to win the pole on both. Both him and Allmendinger were in the fight for the final playoff spot along with Sam Mayer and Parker Kligerman. All four would play a role in the championship determining or the round determining race at the Charlotte Roval. SVG had to make I believe he missed the bus stop on the backstretch, and he had to come to a stop, ended up going from 2nd to 6th. He managed to recover throughout the day, but the main story I want to talk about is Sam Mayer. Started the race, actually jumped the start, had to do a pass-through penalty. Oh, no, we haven't even got that far yet. He jumped the start, had to do a pass-through penalty, managed to work his way back through the field. And so Allgaier won the stage. Sam Mayer ran decently throughout the day. Came and got tires.
Didn't they get him on the initial start for jumping?
Yes, that's what I was getting at. Is he jumped the start over SVG, so he had to do a pass-through penalty. So We'll come back to Sam Mayer in a second, but all kinds of chaos when it comes to the race. This new turn 7 they have has become it's going to become a problem if we run it next year. The dive bombs are intense. I mean, there's the track, and then there's the course cutting of the track, which I'm still fuzzy on why they didn't call a penalty if you're not. The rule is you have to have all 4 tires on the racing surface. My question is, in turn 7, what is determined the racing surface? Because clearly the course cutting right there is going to become a problem with people, taking the race course and people just diving it into the corner and driving it off the bottom. But all kinds of chaos with that. We actually had a move by Parker Kligerman, who has definitely been on a roll. It's his final season, or full time at least, that we know of in the Xfinity Series, and he actually took the lead from SVG with, I think it was like 14 to go. And this is where the controversy comes into play. Coming to the white flag, the 42 car gets buried underneath the tire barrier in turn 3. Parker Kligerman is coming through the front stretch chicane and takes the white flag. And then NASCAR calls the caution. Via their rules, that would mean that Parker Kligerman has won the race. But then they go back and they say that Parker Kligerman did not take the white flag, that the caution lights were flashing prior to them getting to the line. I want to know exactly when that light started flashing versus where he was on the track, because there are 2 different photos I've seen. One from the NBC booth, which shows him just coming onto the straightaway on the front stretch between the chicane and the start-finish line where supposedly the caution flew. From the video, it shows the white flag waving. There is no there is no lights flashing. And then from another view, it has Parker Kligerman about 5 feet from the line with the caution lights supposedly flashing. Which view are we going off of? Because none of them show the same details.
Would that
From the onboard camera, it shows him already across the line when they throw when the light starts flashing. So NASCAR's photo gives a little controversy. NBC's photo gives you some more controversy. What happened? So they ended up calling it back. Go ahead. Sorry.
The NBC photo that from what I could see, there wasn't even any caution lights in the frame where you could see a caution.
When it came to the tracker on the side, they didn't even mention a caution until he was already coming off of turn 2 behind the 42 car, who had been buried underneath the tire barrier. And I don't mean like just stuck underneath the edge. Like the entire car had disappeared underneath the tire barrier. I don't think I've ever seen somebody hit one, at least not like that recently. I've seen it in like go-kart racing. That's the first time I've seen somebody disappear an entire 3,500-pound car underneath a tire barrier the way the 42 car did. And NASCAR's excuse was they couldn't see the car based on where it was on track.
That's what
I want to know how. You have the NBC broadcast showing you it. How
you have a corner worker sitting right there.
Exactly. I want to know exactly how NASCAR could not know that there was a car there until they had already thrown the caution flag after he had crossed the line, because the lights were not flashing until after he came across the line. So if there is that much delay there, I mean, even if there's, a 5-second delay, he's across the line already when he sees those lights. I want to know how you justify that, because Parker Kligerman got robbed, which we'll get to the finish. It turns out that in the end, Sam Mayer on fresh tires started third, ended up passing SVG and AJ Allmendinger to take the win, which just a week ago, he got penalized for, I believe it was the ride height was too low at Talladega. Sam Mayer was penalized. I think it was pretty hefty fine. and somehow comes back and wins his way into the round of 8 for the Xfinity Series, which baffles me that that's how the script is going to play. From everybody that I've seen, says that Parker Kligerman got robbed, and I want to know exactly why they made the rule changes when they did, because there is plenty of proof that the inconsistencies are definitely there, and they're starting to spill over to the Xfinity Series.
Well,
But this is just Xfinity. We haven't even hit the Cup Series yet. There's way more with that one.
the second view from the yellow and crossing the line, going back to that, the second view that you were talking about, was that the photo from
There's a photo
from
the
the
outside.
infield?
Yeah, there's one where they took
Pointing.
it directly at the start finish line.
Okay.
And then there's one that they took from the outside, from up where the officiating booth was, to show exactly where he was on track. The problem with those two photos is there is two different distances in those photos. One of them shows the car way further back than the other one. And from the actual photo from his car, he's across the line when the lights are flashing. So I want to know which one is the actual photo.
I also just saw a picture, it was either today or yesterday, from the infield pointing at the flag stand with Parker Kligerman about, in the picture, he's like that far from the stand.
It looked like about
line.
5 feet. I know
so
that's the one I was referring
to. 3 to 5 feet away from, and the caution light underneath of the flag stand was on. But was it a Photoshop? I mean, we don't know with the technology these days.
I wouldn't even say that. If you're at the line, the flagman's already thrown the white flag. Which one are you? I mean, you obviously aren't going to see the light if you're watching for the white flag. The shot that I saw, he was already across the line when the light is lit up. I mean, NASCAR or NBC never seemed to do the rewind where it shows when it first came on. The still photos are what they used, which I question that. I mean, it doesn't help that the CW doesn't have a live stream. So you have to watch all this afterwards. But that's one thing NASCAR has to fix is the CW, but that's a topic for another time. But when it comes to these finishes and how they're officiating, there needs to be a set line, a baseline, and you need to go off of it or don't make the call. If you're not going to make a consistent call every single time, don't bother. Just let it run rampant and run the thing into the ground. This has become pathetic at this point. I'm sorry, NASCAR, but it's a little out of hand that there's no consistency when it comes to this stuff. But I mean, this is just the Xfinity. We haven't even covered Cup Series yet. All kinds of drama in the Cup Series. I think we got through stage 1, and pretty relatively calm. A few course jumping calls, which some of them were questionable from photos. Some of them were understandable. There were quite a few drivers that had issues. Denny Hamlin and Tyler Reddick had some pretty massive contact in turn 7. I forget exactly who it was that spun, but Denny ended up trying to come to a stop, and Tyler Reddick more or less wheel hopped right over the side of Denny's car. I mean, it looked like 4 or 5 feet in the air. His right rear was in the air, coming right down on the side of Denny's car. I mean, he got some hang time. Was definitely a bit surprised by that. Managed to damage the right rear toe link to where it didn't drive right the rest of the day. He somehow managed to wrestle the car all the way back to, I think it was 8th, I think. But also, Daniel Suarez was forced off track by Bubba Wallace. He issued a self-inflicted penalty or self-issued penalty. I don't know which way you'd put it. But from what I saw is he was forced off track, so he wasn't required to, do a stop and go. But he self-issued himself a stop and go penalty, and I feel like that hurt him a little bit in his chances to move on. But that's just, my opinion on it. Chase Briscoe ended up knocked out of the race early, which he was the only remaining Stewart-Haas car, which is very unfortunate that they were out so early. But the big story that comes to me is post-race. We had Alex Bowman, Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, Chase Elliott. I'm trying to think who I'm missing now. We had all 400 cars, plus Tyler Reddick and Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney. I feel like I forget who I'm missing now.
Logano.
Well, no, Logano actually was knocked out originally, which we'll get to that. But all 400 cars, 2 Toyotas, and Logano, or not Logano, Blaney. I feel like I'm missing one. Either way, all 400 cars have made it. But wait, there's more. Apparently, post-race, Alex Bowman's car was too light, and they disqualified him. So everybody thought that, they're going to appeal the penalty, and Alex Bowman will be back in the playoffs, because with the disqualification, it dropped him to 38th and ended up putting him out of the round of 8. So everybody assumed that Hendrick Motorsports was going to appeal until Monday, and Hendrick issues a statement that they are not going to appeal the penalty, which, in my opinion, shocking that they did not appeal that penalty. It was what? I think they said that it was about 17 pounds is what they give them, and it was over 17 pounds. He was light. Earlier in the race, Alex Bowman hit the turtles, which I will say those things were massive. They were about 4 or 5 inches tall, and it had the cars high enough that it looked like you were racing motocross over race at a road course. I was surprised that they were as high as they were. But you could see in the video from Michael McDowell's onboard, which later surfaced, a piece of material coming off the car. Now, it's up for speculation if that's what made it too light, or, what it could have been. But either way, it was issued. They did not appeal it. Joey Logano moves on. Alex Bowman is now out of the round of 8, which is a massive blow to the all 4 Hendrick drivers making the final 4, which is the first time, I believe, that they've had that many cars in the final, in the remaining 8 spots, I think, ever. I don't think we've had that many cars that far into the playoffs in a while. But in other news with that, there is a rumor that there is a engineer that has sold private setup information from JGR to another undisclosed team. Now, I've seen a few different reports, and the information does kind of add up. There is speculation that somebody from Joe Gibbs sold private setup information to RCR. Now, this is not confirmed. This is just, from other reports I have read.
These are just rumors right now.
Yeah, these are just rumors right now. Nothing official has been given. But the elements that have been provided to it that would back this is this happened right around the time of the Olympic break. And supposedly, if it went to RCR, if you look back at the stats, Austin Dillon and Kyle Busch really couldn't do absolute crap all season. And all of a sudden, Austin Dillon becomes, running up front the entire, Richmond race.
Magic.
Led 45 laps or 35, and ends up in that controversial finish at Richmond. On the same hand, Kyle Busch had an average finish of like 23rd or something like that. In the last how many races since Richmond, he has an average finish of like 5th or 6th, which is a massive improvement from what it was before the Olympic break. Now, you cannot tell me that in the span of, a 2-week vacation, you're magically going to gain 20-some spots average position. Like, that's not like a reset button you can push. That is a little incriminating, if you ask me.
Yeah, something's going on.
Something doesn't seem right. So if that is the case and it was RCR, I mean, the evidence is there, and NASCAR says they are fully aware of it. So it's all going to depend on if Joe Gibbs Racing decides they want to, file a report, or what's going to happen. But if I was Joe Gibbs Racing, even though I can't stand Denny Hamlin and their team in general, I'd file it because I want to see where this goes. Because it's not like you could just magically, gain that kind of performance without a little bit of help. It's
Yeah,
very
it's
suspicious, and
it
I
sounds
wonder how that's all gonna equivalent out.
to me something strange is going on there.
It's
I mean,
definitely a
just
bit shady that all of a sudden you go from a 23rd ish, I think it's 24.3 average position to a fifth or sixth average position. Like you don't do that in 2 weeks. You
somebody
have a
should have
2 week vacation and magically you're better. If anything, it
somebody
should have been the other way.
in my opinion somebody needs to they should have sold
It,
some of that Vote
for
Aspire.
for what I understand, well, no, it came from Toyota setup wise to RCR, which is very odd
Yeah,
because if it went
RCR
for
is Chevys.
that's what I mean is you know Toyota or JGR is a pretty consistent
But
uh,
that
performer. When it comes to RCR, with that kind of spike in performance, you can't tell me that a 2 week reset is going to magically make both cars run better, especially 1 week or 2 weeks after running back of the pack. You're magically going to run 30, your lead 35 laps and be part of a controversial finish, which essentially eliminated it eliminated Austin Dillon's chance of being in the playoffs. That should have been the first hint that something was up.
but this goes to show you that these cars are more alike than people think.
Yes.
It's just like the old original COT. They're all
And
the
honestly, I
same.
hated those things.
They're all the same. The stickers are different.
I mean, they are trying to make the cars universal so you can buy them from a single sourced company. So
Imagine that.
that obviously gives that away. Like
So have
each
we heard?
manufacturer buys them from a specific company.
Have
I
we
mean,
heard
what
any?
is they talked about I forget, they mentioned a company had been around. Oh, the window net company is a family business. That's where they got their pink window nets from. Is it's a single sourced company, which
Have
is
we?
kind of odd that they're obviously it's a window net, but still, if you can use a universal part across all three makes, these cars are pretty similar. It's funny how that works.
Have we heard anything more about the lawsuit?
As far as I know, at least not that I can think of, there hasn't been any. It is possible that 2311 and Front Row Racing will have to run uh, race your way in. I forget what they call that, but they may not be guaranteed to start next year. So, like how we had all the starting parks, how you would have to race your way into the Daytona 500. Normally, you would have 2311 and Front Row already locked into the field. If this goes the way it's going to go, I know 2311 and Front Row have had to file for I forget what they call it, but they had to file to be able to race next year, and they would not be able to race with their current charters from last year. They would have to be a race your way in type of
They
type of deal.
they filed a what they call a preliminary injunction, so they can hang on to their charters for the time being while the lawsuit is in process. That hasn't been granted, nor has it been denied. I don't even think it's been heard yet, but I have kept up on that part of it a little bit. So
I remember reading a report and I forget the terms they used, but it's very possible that Front Row and 2311 will have to race their way in to make the field for events, pending how this lawsuit goes.
but NASCAR has been ordered to treat the teams as they should for the remainder of this season. So
Next season, it's a whole nother problem.
yeah, so we'll see where that goes.
I guess that's
They,
one reason Denny doesn't want to drive for his own team.
yeah.
Would make
So,
sense now, but I
well,
I really question how this is going to go. The fact that they have to take these steps to ensure that they're going to be able to race next year definitely makes me wonder if it was worth filing the lawsuit. Obviously, they're claiming that they didn't have enough time to file or to argue. I would not say argue, to discuss it correctly. They were kind of forced to sign this. I mean, obviously Hendrick Motorsports, Rick Hendrick said he was tired and you can only get so much. But it's, this is the risk you take when you don't, when you don't want to work with it. I mean, they took the risk. Now we wait to see what's going to happen.
and as it'll be interesting to see if they call any other team owners in as witnesses, especially someone like Richard Childress, who pretty much said that, well, I signed it so I didn't lose my charters. I have people to support. I've got employees that need jobs, and I
Oh
basically
yeah,
signed it because I was obligated.
yeah.
So
But I know we
we'll.
only got about 3 minutes left, so I better wrap this up. So, I mean, that's as far as I know. I don't think there's really anything I have left to cover. I'm very surprised that they did not appeal the Alex Bowman thing, but I mean, it's over with now. We'll wait and see what happens. It gave Joey Logano the chance at being a 3-time champ, so we'll see what happens.
So Michael, he says, "Oh, Michael came in. We got to go. We're trying to cut these down and keep them around an hour, Mike. So sorry, but anyways, any viewers, what do you think? Is the no appeal and admission of guilt on Hendrick Motorsports' part, or is it just, hey, we're probably not going to win it anyway with the 48 team. Let's just move on and lick our wounds and move on with the season? What do you think? Let us know in the comments below.
Don't be afraid to message us if you have any questions or comments for the show. We would love to hear them.
And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also find us on X. I haven't posted any content on X lately. I've been kind of busy with personal stuff due to a passing family member. So I'm trying to get there and get it caught up. But I'm also looking for a new streaming platform. So if you have any that you'd like to recommend, let us know. I've been looking at Streamlabs, One Live, stuff like that. So, anybody have any recommendations? Let us know. You can also email us any fan mail or any suggestions or topics you'd like for the show. Let us know. We'd love to hear from you. switchinggrooves@gmail.com. And like I said, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and share all of our content. So, with that said, Nathan, I'll let you take it away, buddy.
All right. Well, with Switching Grooves, I'm Nathan Johns.
And I'm Russ Fritz saying race hard,
Stay safe.
and we'll see you there. Until next time, have fun, everybody.
Bye, guys.